Erev Tov, everyone. First, two words in this week's parsha occupy a great deal of space amongst the Meforshim. Rei Onochi. So there's a discussion, who is Onochi? In other words, is Moshe Rabbeinu saying this? This is part of his speech? Or is the Onochi, like Onochi Hashem Elokecha, the Ribono Shel Olam is saying it? In other words, is it Nevuah from Moshe, or is it direct revelation from heaven? But that's not what I want to enter into tonight. I want to talk about the word Re'eh. The word Re'eh is singular. We're talking to one person. It should say Re'u if you're talking about the general public of Klal Yisrael. So Re'eh Anochi Nosei Lifnechem Hayom Bracha Klala. So why is it in the singular? So again, all the Meforshim discuss this. But there are a number of ideas that are relevant to us. There can be a general bracha, and there can be a general klala. But within the general bracha and the general klala, there's the individual. And sometimes there are situations when there's a general bracha, but the individual does not have that bracha. And the same thing is true in reverse. Sometimes there's a klala, generally, but the individual doesn't feel the klala, doesn't reach him. It's not part of him. So the Torah wanted us to understand that aside from the general bracha and klala, there's an individual bracha klala. In other words, whatever happens to the general society certainly affects every individual, and it may create situations where individual behavior is coerced and inescapable. But there is a situation where the individual decides for himself or herself what they're going to do. So, for instance, we pride ourselves that we are descended from Avram and Sorah. We read in last week's Haftorah, Ki Echad Krasiv. They were unique people. So they live in a generation of Klala. Sodom, Amorah, the wars of the kings, Vayirov Boretz, there's famine. It's a difficult time in the world. But they have the choice of whether they want to be bracha or klala. And by not following the herd instinct, so therefore they bring upon themselves a bracha even in a generation of klala. And we see that the Dor HaMidbar. The Dor HaMidbar is a generation of bracha. There's one that falls every day. Anonei Kovod, Mamad Har Sinai. It's generally a generation of bracha. But within it, there are individuals who choose to bring klola on themselves by their individual behavior. So the Torah wants to emphasize that to us, that much more is dependent upon us than we think. And that to a certain extent, we determine our own fate. And therefore, the Torah talks to us, B'lashon Yachid, not generally, but individually. Ray, look, you yourself, be aware that you have before you bracha klola. In your life's decisions, in your daily behavior, in your understanding of matters, it can be bracha, it can be something else. And even though we are reliant on the general society, and we are part of it, it's inescapable. Nevertheless, the individual is judged on his choice. Whether I follow the society or not, that's a general question. But that doesn't mean that what I do doesn't have weight and import. Chazal said the famous idea that a person should always say, Bishvili nivra olam. Everything was created for me. I'm the most important person on the planet. And when it comes to certain matters, people feel like that. When their honor is involved, when their wealth may be involved, when other things may be involved. But spiritually, the Torah is speaking. Yishvili nivra olam means the choice was given to me. What kind of world do I want? I'm the one that fashions it. And the truth of the matter is that we all know that we fashion our individual world. What we do is what matters. So therefore, that's Ray. And we see that throughout, we see that in the prayers, I bet no Ray. We always ask that we're able to be seen individually. We're going to say that on Rosh Hashanah, the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, Kol Boy Olam in front of Kivnei Maron, individually. We are all responsible for ourselves, for what we are and what we say. So bracha, klola also are subjective. They're not necessarily objective descriptions. One man's bracha is another man's klola. And many times we have something wonderful happens to us and we don't appreciate it. We think the other way around. We are unable to judge. So therefore he says the bracha is asher tishmun and the klola is asher lo tishmun. That's that simple. What kind of life we lead. What's important to us. What we feel somehow empowers us. So we always read this parsha right before Chodesh Elul, before the beginning salvo of the Yom Noroim, so that we have an appreciation to think about ourselves on a different plane, on a higher level, that we should be zoche, that everything should be a bracha and we should recognize it as such. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'zakos es Yisrael, l'ficha chirbo lehem, Torah mitzvot shenemar, v'nach havetzman sitko yagil Torah v'yad.